Welcome back, Advice Pod. Kyle, Raysean, Kelly.
Yo!
We have am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for telling my half-sister I ran away because of her?
Don't forget to like the post. The video. Come on, man. Raysean, I'm gonna kill myself.
Doing this on a throwaway because I use my main for non-personal content. I have a half-sister, Emily, who is a year younger than me. My mom and dad split custody of me while my dad had sole custody of her. My dad was kind of inept as a parent and basically tried to outsource Emily's emotional well-being to anyone he could. In between girlfriends, that was me whenever I was at his house. I hated Emily growing up. I hated being forced to play with her and take her everywhere. I hated my dad trying to get me to include her in everything. For my last 2 years of school, I chose to live with my dad full-time as my mom moved away and I didn't want to change schools. I was meant to start boarding at school for those 2 years, but last minute my dad said I couldn't since it wasn't fair to Emily. Basically him, because he didn't want to put up with her. This left me in the house full-time with Emily. Playing babysitter to her became so unbearable. I eventually, quote unquote, ran away from home to live with my best friend. I'd live with him until I finished school. After I left, I kind of cut Emily off. She has always resented me for this. She takes it out on me by constantly bad-mouthing me to relatives, telling exaggerated lies about me, like my lifestyle, my financial situation, and my job. I'm always having to correct people after the fact because of the weird stuff she says. I've never confronted her because I feel like this is her way to try and get attention, and I don't want to engage. On Wednesday, we means me, my BFF, Emily, her boyfriend, and my dad and his girlfriend, all had dinner. It was the first time we'd met Emily's boyfriend, and we were kind of catching him up on our lives. It came up that I'd left home as a teenager. Emily chimed in and said that I'd left home so that I didn't have any rules, and basically alluded to me being a heavy partier, which isn't true. Damn. I said that that wasn't true. I left because Emily suffocated me and my dad wouldn't do anything about it. My dad and I had a short back and forth about it, and then it was over. But Emily started crying and left the table. She and her boyfriend ended up leaving early. Later that night, Emily sent me a message, digging me out for saying that in front of her boyfriend. I responded by digging her out. What the fuck does digging out mean?
I was also thinking, I've never heard that before.
They probably cussing each other out. That's what I'm hoping to think.
That's like a polite way to say cursing each other out. I don't know. I responded by digging her out for insinuating I had a substance issue. She said I could have refuted that without bringing up how much I hate her. Also denies that that was what she was getting at. I said she could have just avoided the whole conversation by not trying to lie about me with me sitting right there. The argument didn't get anywhere, so I just stopped replying. My dad is now getting it in the neck from her. What a fucking weird phrase. My dad is now getting it in the neck from her that I've ruined her relationship and am a giant bully. He thinks I probably shouldn't have said what I did and that I should have just said we had our, quote, differences and left it there. His girlfriend, however, thinks I'm in the right. Was it an asshole move to choose now to tell the truth? Go ahead, Ray. Go ahead.
It's interesting. One thing I will say though is don't tell no story that I'm supposed to be a part of, and don't expect me not to chime in that bitch, because that right there that don't make no sense to me. Oh, don't you mad because I told the truth? Bitch, you try to tell these motherfuckers I'm a drug addict? Of course I'm jumping into this. And the fact that your boyfriend left you just because I told him that you were unsufferable when we were teenagers just shows you he was waiting for anything.
Unsufferable is definitely what she was. That's a great way to put it.
But I just feel like the little sister, I don't know much from the post. I can't really say if she's like a horrible person or anything, because from her perspective, it probably is like, damn, you kind of disappeared, like what happened type shit. But the fact that she's going around spreading all these kind of bullshit lies and anything, I'm glad you kind of understand it is for intention. Like, she wants you to respond, but the fact that you haven't respond also allows people to kind of believe this kind of stuff. So you should kind of talk to her and kind of try to make that stuff clear and try to figure out where y'all can get to a balance. I feel like that should be a good part, because y'all are siblings, and it's probably some hurt right there, because it's like, damn, where is my siblings? Because that's something low-key I had to low-key understand from my younger siblings, being an older sibling and now realizing that I'm not connecting as much to my younger siblings as I do to my siblings closer to my age, and how that can personally how make them feel. So
yeah,
that's
your
something
brother
you got to
David
kind of
is
talk.
your brother
He's
David's
23,
23,
and
you're
then my
26.
next sibling is like
13.
13. Then I got one that's
You
3.
got one younger than her too. Wow.
Yeah, so
All
I
right,
have
word.
so it's like sometimes trying to make those connections, and then the one person that brought it up is my sister who's 13. Like, I feel like you don't make as much of a connection with me, so it's like you gotta try to talk to people and try to understand what's going on with people. And
that is really cute that she brought that up to you, though. She wants to be more involved with your life. That's kind of adorable.
Yeah, which to me was surprising, but you know, we all get different images of what we think is what people want from us.
My
And
little
for her
sister
to
did
tell me
something like that not too long ago. Well, not too long ago, probably like 2, 3, 4 years ago.
Not long ago at all.
I have no concept of what time is. My not my oldest sister. My oldest sister is Malin. She lives in San Diego. She's 24 now. Jesus Christ, bro. My other oldest sister on my dad's side, she one day just very randomly asked me if I could pick her up early from school and take her out to breakfast. And I was like, yeah, of course. Of course. And I never thought that. I didn't think she really liked me as a person, to be fair. Like, my dad has a way of communicating about me that is less than ideal, let's say. And I know that these girls know about that. My dad's kind of a douche sometimes, but he means well. It just doesn't always feel like the wellness. It doesn't always translate to all of his kids. It translates to 2 of his kids. Let this kid be a lesson. You know what I mean? And I'm like, what the fuck, man? So when she asked me to do that, I was like, of course, you know, and we went out, we had a nice time, and we had a very honest conversation about our parents for the first time in pretty much ever, because I'm so much older than her. Like, I'm so much older than all my siblings. My closest sibling is 10 and a half years. And she lives 3,000 miles away now. And even if she lived here, as shitty as it is, unless we lived in the same house, we probably wouldn't communicate very often. I don't know. It sucks. It's less than ideal. But when you said, like, you get along much better with your brother David, who's much closer to your age, as opposed to your other sibling, because they're just a further gap, I was like, yeah, I understand that. I wish I had a fucking sibling close to my age. I don't know. Either way, I feel like this girl kind of made it more about protecting her own reputation as opposed to making it about a genuine connection about her sister. I think that this girl has some, I don't know this, maybe this is just me projecting onto this girl, but this girl has projection issues where she's kind of saying that she left the home when she did for whatever reason. But, and to make it all about the kid, dude, I left because this girl was suffocating me. Well, that girl was like 12 years old and didn't have like a fucking solid role model in her life. So for you to like literally outright blame her the way in which you have, you're kind of the asshole. I think this girl's a super fucking asshole, man.
I think so too.
But I don't think that she's an asshole on purpose. I think she's just at that point in her life wherein this is how she views things. And 10 years down the road, she may view it a little bit differently and be like, actually, yeah, I was kind of being a dick. I shouldn't have blamed it on that kid. I was going through a tough time. I did have, you know, a little bit more reliance on a substance than I cared to admit or whatever. It's a tough situation. Like, I don't think this kid is a bad person, but I do think that they are presently in the current day, in fact, an asshole.
What's interesting is they both could be telling the truth.
Yeah, they're telling their own truth.
Their own versions.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say that I think that this girl's an asshole because the person she's really mad about, the reason she actually left home early is because of her dad.
Yep.
It's not actually her sister.
How dare you blame your sister? I get the feeling
that the sister was younger, like you're saying, and she needed someone, and that someone happened to be the poster, because the dad was so absent or not around, or the person she's really angry at is her dad. And there's really no point in taking it out on a sibling who also went through that with a shitty, absent dad. So I think if you can't hold it together for one dinner, don't fucking go.
Yeah. I don't think this girl's a bad person, but I do think that she's a little bit short-sighted and in this situation, an asshole.
But I will say, whoever brought it up, though, the sister brought up me being a drug addict first. I'm gonna have to kind of like hold. I don't know if I was a drug addict, like, you know what I mean. There was a lot of stuff going on around that time. Let's not throw these kind of.
You don't have to call me a loser who dropped out of college, but yeah, what the hell?
Well, I also think that's probably like what she, like, as the younger sister, I bet she wasn't like, oh, my sister's leaving because of me. And her dad probably said, oh, she's a teenager. She's going over there because it's more fun. She gets to have more fun over there. Like, I don't think that, maybe she didn't say, oh, for drugs, and just was like, oh, less rules and more partying.
I just think that the younger sister wants a sister. Seeing like that's what she's been trying to cry out for a little bit, and she wants that attention. And the fact that she can't get it out of you is like, damn, what do I got to do? Type shit for you to see me. Type shit. So.
And the reason she doesn't have that attention from a big sister is because, according to her dad, your sister goes and lives with so-and-so because she can smoke weed, she can drink beers unattended, You
gotta think where she got those stories from and shit. So
yeah,
right.
It totally skews the entire perspective of the little sister.
Just sitting back like,
hey, but the oldest sister, like I said, man, obviously an asshole, and she's not giving this 13-year-old kid like the benefit of the doubt and where she's coming from. But is it 13 or am I making up that age?
I think you're making it up. I don't think they said.
Oh, well, she's 13 in my brain. They have approximately 10 and a half years in between them because that's the most relatable situation to me. So let us know what your most relatable situation is down in the comments below. If you haven't liked the video, please do that. If you haven't subscribed, please do that. And we will see you tomorrow for some more advice.
Don't be a butt cheek.